Among all the trainers in Hoenn, and in fact the entire Pokemon universe, few are as accomplished and versatile as today's trainer. Wallace, a man of several titles and a powerful water-type trainer with many talents. When we first meet him, Wallace serves as the gym leader of the Sootopolis City Gym in the Hoenn region, where he presided over the esteemed Rain Badge. He's canonically intended to be the 8th and final gym leader on a challenger's quest, meaning the league likely regarded him as the strongest gym leader in the region. Wallace is well acquainted with Hoenn champion Steven Stone, not only operating with him and the player to save the Hoenn region towards the end of the game, but also describing him as his friend and even his rival too, who pushes him to do better. This friendship would lead to a pivotal development later on that would change Wallace's life and the Hoenn region forever. Towards the end of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, after Steven is defeated, he states that he wishes to pursue his research further and that one day he might pursue his own hopes in this regard, but won't leave his Pokemon League duty quite yet. But when the time comes, he tells Wallace that he hopes he will be there to lend a hand. And lend a hand, Wallace most certainly did, as he subsequently took on the role of champion in the Hoenn region in Pokemon Emerald. This being just one example, Wallace is a very loyal and dutiful person, and we learn that these traits likely come from him being a descendant of the ancient Sootopolitans, meaning he's entrusted with the protection of the ancient landmarks such as the Cave of Origin and the Sky Pillar, as well as Sootopolis itself. Gym leader, champion, ancient protector of Hoenn's most important landmarks, surely there can't be any more accolades that Wallace has, right? Well, you'd be wrong to assume so. In the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire postgame, the player can challenge a girl named Licia for the Master Rank contest, and if she's defeated, Wallace will arrive. As it turns out, Licia is Wallace's niece, who was taken away from Sootopolis during the disastrous events with Groudon and Kyogre. It's at this point that Licia actually tells us that Wallace, her uncle, is her contest mentor, and it just so happens that Wallace was once a master coordinator himself. But Licia's natural skill, he says, made her more of an idol, which allowed Wallace to turn his focus towards battling and becoming a gym leader. Inspired by the player, Wallace later tries out contests again, participating in the Pokemon Contest Spectacular with his trusty Milotic. Upon first meeting him, Wallace's sense of style is very hard to miss, and he appears to be very formal and noble in his demeanor. His words dictate that grace and elegance are two of his highest priorities when it comes to battling, and often describes battles as being masterful performances. Having not known his history at the time, it was very difficult to ascertain where this all came from. But these questions were later answered for us in Pokemon Emerald, when his very own mentor, a man named Hoenn, occupies the empty Sootopolis City gym position after Wallace becomes champion. Needless to say, of all the qualities Wallace embodies, Hoenn takes them to the extreme, even claiming himself to be more elegant than Wallace. Gym leader, champion, protector of Hoenn, and master contest coordinator. It's pretty hard to beat a resume like that. Given these factors, we very well know that Wallace is a strong trainer. But how strong is he really? Using all of his appearances in the main series games, it's time to establish Wallace's best possible team. It's time to find out his true power. The first time we encounter Wallace in the main series games occurs in the original Gen 3 games Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, where he serves as the 8th and final gym leader on our quest. In this battle for our last badge, Wallace begins with a level 40 Love Disc, followed by a level 40 Celio, a level 42 Seaking, a level 42 Whiscash, and finally his signature level 43 Milotic. With high levels, a lot of bulk, and some great moves like Rain Dance on his Seaking to give the team a boost and activate its Swift Swim ability, Amnesia on his Whiscash, and Recover on his Milotic, this can definitely be a tough battle. But it is certainly not the strongest we see him. Canonically speaking, the next time we encounter Wallace occurs in the Mega timeline in the Ruby and Sapphire remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which allow us to see Wallace in a new light since he can actually be battled on 2 separate occasions, unlike in the originals. Our first battle with him occurs under similar circumstances to the originals, where we challenge him for our 8th gym badge, although his team is a bit stronger than last time. His Love Disc and Celio are now both 4 levels stronger at level 44, his Whiscash and Seaking are 2 levels higher, also at level 44, and finally his Milotic is 3 levels stronger at level 46. But levels are certainly not all that the remakes gave us. In the postgame of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Wallace can be encountered on Route 131, where he's serving a quasi-role as the Guardian of the Sky Pillar, where the player is intended to search for and attempt to capture the legendary Pokemon Rayquaza. Since he knows that the player is now champion, he appears to no longer be holding back at all, and as a Sutopolitan, it is apparently his duty to battle at his fullest to test trainers to see if they're worthy of entering. In this battle, Wallace has become immensely powerful, now starting with a brand new level 55 Wailord, followed by a new level 55 Tentacruel, a new level 55 Ludicolo, his Whiscash now also at level 55, a brand new Gyarados at level 55, and finally his Milotic now at level 57. Wallace was definitely operating at maximum strength here, as he says, "To defeat me, a descendant of the ancient Sutopolis people, and even when I was holding nothing back." But there still exist more appearances in the timeline. Heading back to the main timeline, the next time we see Wallace is very shortly after that Delta episode in Pokemon Emerald, where he's now become the champion of the Hoenn region, having replaced Steven. In this battle, Wallace operates using the same 6 Pokemon that he defended Sky Pillar with, although at slightly higher levels, with his Wailord 2 levels higher at level 57, his Tentacruel now at level 56, his Ludicolo, Whiscash, and Gyarados all at a level higher at level 56, and finally his Milotic also a level stronger at level 58, and holding a Citrus Berry for even more bulk. As a regional champion, this is a very strong showing from Wallace. But a decade later, Wallace would show that he's become an even better trainer in one final appearance. Wallace's last appearance in the canonical flow of the main series games occurs in Gen 5's Black 2 and White 2, where he takes part in the Pokemon World Tournament. Wallace only appears in one tournament mode, the Champions Tournament, where he represents the Hoenn region alongside Stephen Stone, which I find to be incredibly poetic. Don't forget that the World Tournament automatically sets all Pokemon to level 50, but we can get a great idea of new additions to his collection and how competitively viable his Pokemon have become since the events of Gen 3. In the Champions Tournament, Wallace operates by rotating between his Milotic, a brand new Sharpedo, his now fully evolved Walrein, which we haven't seen since it was a Celio and Ruby and Sapphire, his Ludicolo, a brand new Swampert, and finally a brand new Starmie. Although his levels are all set to level 50 as per tournament rules, in the decade that has passed since our champion battle with him, we know he has undoubtedly trained his Pokemon further, and his new Pokemon and stellar movesets prove just as much. It's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Using all of his appearances in the main series Pokemon games, let's construct Wallace's best possible team. The first pick for Wallace's best team is going to go to his beastly Gyarados from his Emerald Champion battle, in which it's at level 56, but has likely become stronger since. In competitive battling, Gyarados is currently in the UUBL tier, meaning it's banned from the underused tier but doesn't quite make the overused or OU tier by usage, meaning it's just below the second best tier. Gyarados is a really great Pokemon with all of his base stats that it actually needs to use being between 79 and 125, which is pretty crazy. Along with the Intimidate ability to lower the opponent's attack, Wallace's Gyarados also had Dragon Dance to power up its own attack and speed even as far back as Emerald, along with Earthquake for coverage. Aside from that, Wallace could have definitely updated his Gyarados' moveset since then with moves like Stab Waterfall and Bounce, as well as Ice Fang for coverage, especially against grass types which otherwise threaten this team quite badly. The second spot is going to go to Wallace's Starmie from his Black 2 and White 2 Champions Pokemon World Tournament team, in which it's automatically set to level 50 as per tournament rules. However, given that this is the biggest challenge that Wallace has ever faced and all the rest of his Pokemon in the World Tournament that we know the level of are level 56 plus, it's safe to assume his Starmie is around there too. Starmie is currently in the UU or underused tier in competitive battling, the third highest tier, and is a wickedly fast and powerful special sweeper with a great 115 base stat in speed and a great 100 in special attack, along with some decent defenses both at 85 with a mediocre 60 HP. Wallace has had some great moves on Starmie like Stab Surf and Psychic, along with Thunderbolt and Signal Beam for coverage, although it could definitely run Ice Beam for coverage against dragons and grass types too. Although a more defensive set with Rapid Spin and Recover is a possibility here too, Wallace already has enough bulky Pokemon, so I think that Starmie's best role is as a pure sweeper for some team speed. The third pick is going to go to Wallace's Tentacruel from his Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Delta episode rematch, in which it's at level 55 and probably higher now. Tentacruel currently stands in the UU tier in competitive battling, and its base stats are very impressive, with all of the stats that it uses being between 80 and 120 with the exception of its defense, which is a passable 65. Amazingly, despite Tentacruel's bulk, it's also surprisingly fast with a base 100 speed. We've seen Wallace have some great moves on this thing throughout its time on his team, including including Stab Hydro Pump, Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Wave, as well as Ice Beam and Dazzling Gleam for coverage, Toxic to Poison Stall, and even Rain Dance to set up rain for the team, which would be incredible. It could definitely benefit from other options like Rapid Spin, Knock Off, Stab Scald with the additional chance to burn, or even Toxic Spikes for some hazard setup too, and would function really well as a physical wall for Wallace's team and deals with threatening grass types really well. The fourth spot on Wallace's best team is going to go to his Swampert from his Champions World Tournament team, in which it's automatically set to level 50, but like Starmie is probably at level 56 plus. Swampert is also posted in the UU tier at the moment, and its base stats are also quite impressive, with all its needed stats being between 90 and 110, the latter being its attack, except for its speed, which is a mediocre 60. Given its bulk, huge attack, and low speed, I see Swampert fulfilling a physical tank role with the ability to strike hard but also take some hits as well. Wallace has a specially offensive set on his, but he could definitely have updated it since then with moves like Stab Earthquake and Waterfall, Ice Punch, and perhaps Toxic for some utility too. Swampert's only weakness is grass types, which is a 4x weakness, but thankfully his team has many options to help deal with those, making this a great tanky addition to his team. And the second last pick is going to go to none other than Wallace's signature Pokemon, his Milotic from his Emerald Champion battle, in which it was at level 58, making it his highest level Pokemon, and it's likely even stronger now. Milotic is placed in the RU or rarely used tier at the moment, and it might be actually slightly underrated because its base stats are quite great with a fantastic 95 HP, 79 defense, and a whopping 125 special defense, along with a good 81 speed and a solid 100 special attack too. Milotic would probably function best as a special wall on this team to act as a counterpart to Tentacruel, and its Marble Scale ability allows its defense to be raised by 50% if it's affected by a status condition. Wallace has had fantastic moves on Milotic over the years like Stab Scald with a chance to burn, Hydro Pump for more power, Ice Beam for coverage, and many fantastic utility moves like the Rest and Sleep Talk combination, Recover for health, and Toxic to wear opponents down. Milotic does a stellar job of rounding out the defensive base of this team. And the final spot on Wallace's best possible team is going to go to his Ludicolo from his Emerald Champion battle, in which it's at level 56 plus. Ludicolo currently stands in the PU tier in competitive battling, one of the worst tiers, but is honestly severely underrated and rounds out this team in particular amazingly well. Wallace's Ludicolo is shown to have the Swift Swim ability, which doubles Ludicolo's speed in rain, which it can set up itself or possibly give the opportunity to Tentacruel, making it an absolute speedy monster with moves like Stab Hydro Pump, Stab Giga Drain for coverage against other water types and some recovery, along with coverage moves like Focus Blast and the potential for Ice Beam too. As an immensely speedy threat in rain, Ludicolo completes the team exceptionally well with some specially offensive power and speed along with some Stab Grass coverage. Although this is Wallace's best team, he has a few other very viable options that could be switched in as an alternate depending on what Wallace needs against certain opponents. First is his level 56 plus Sharpedo, which we've unfortunately only ever seen with its Rough Skin ability instead of Speed Boost, which doesn't quite make it a candidate for the team despite his type coverage. Next is his level 56 plus Walrein, which is quite a bulky Pokemon but is outclassed by his other defensive Pokemon like Tentacruel and Milotic. Next up is his Whiscash, which would merely add another 4x grass weakness to the team, and is outclassed by Swampert even despite its access to Dragon Dance. Finally, Wallace's tanky Wailord suffers the same fate as Walrein in that it's outclassed by Milotic in its role. Well, there we go everyone, we have discovered Wallace's true power and unveiled his strongest possible team in the main series games. If you enjoyed this video and are looking forward to more from this series, please be sure to leave a like, share it on social media, and subscribe with notifications on by hitting the bell icon if you haven't already. Don't forget to comment down below with what trainer you wish to see featured next. The comment with the most likes will pick the trainer for the next week's episode and will be featured on screen. Before we go, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you enjoy my content and would like to support the channel and get some cool perks too, the link to my Patreon page will be in the description below. This has been Soul Spectre, and I'll see you guys next time for some more True Power.